doing multiple takes. We're going this one time. We're not doing multiple takes. We're going on this one time.
Things could get bad.
Here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Angels Angle. My name is Brandon Durniok, and this is my dad, Michael Durniok. And if you're wasting your time today watching our video, that's on you. Welcome to the Angels Angle. This podcast is going to be about everything and anything Angels baseball. Most of the time, it will be us crying and whining about the Angels, and you're going to want to listen to it.
We don't do that.
No, we do. There is a lot of crying and whining. So, my dad suggested that we tell you guys what we're going to do today. I said we're not doing that. You guys are going to have to watch it blindly. We're not telling you anything. So, we're gonna get into it right away. All right. So basically, what we're gonna do first here, just so that you guys have an idea of what we're about, because you guys don't know anything about us. We're gonna give you guys our all-time starting Angels pitching rotation. So this is a 1 through 5 rotation, and we can pick any Angel player, any previous Angel player. It's a certain season of a player. So if you're gonna say Ricky Nolasco, you have to say 2018 Ricky Nolasco. I hope he pitched in 2018. I don't know when he pitched for us. And we're gonna go.
Who's Nolasco?
You don't remember Ricky Nolasco?
That tells a lot right there.
Ricky Nolasco. He pitched. He was a Marlins guy, and we got him from the Twins. And he had probably a 5-year array with us. It was great.
That's good. That sounds about right.
Well, it was really good. That's why he's on my list here. So
awesome.
We're gonna go rotation spot by rotation spot, and we're gonna give you guys our Angels rotation of all time. And we're gonna start off with you, Michael. Who's number one on your who's your ace? Who's leading off your rotation?
Who's leading it off for me? Well, I thought about this. There's a lot of good past Angel pitchers, but you got to go with the man, the man of the 70s.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame. He had 4 no-hitters for us.
Oh, okay.
He was in 5 All-Star games as an Angel.
He's your ace?
He has 138 wins. That's number 2 all-time as an Angel. 40 shutouts, 156 complete games, and this just is an Angel. So, Nolan Ryan. And I'm taking his 1973 season. That was the year I was born, by the way. I'm 50 years old. And
he's lying. He was born back in probably 1910, so...
And he was 21-6 with a 2.87 ERA and 383 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
I know Nolan Ryan's good. All right,
okay, and he's my ace. There you go.
He's your ace.
He's my ace.
You know what his walk rates were?
Did
you take a look at that? It was like 5 per 9. A guy led the league in wild pitches every year.
And if he didn't like you, just hit you in the head and knock you out. Didn't matter.
All right.
What do you got? What's your angle, Brandon?
Don't shut up about the angle. All right, so look, number 1, and this is going to really kind of highlight our different philosophies here, because as he was born in 1910 and he knows Gene Chance, McGree, I'm going to start off just because I'm going to do it. I'm going to do 2022 Shohei Ohtani is leading my rotation.
Okay.
He's leading my rotation. Look, he had the highest K per 9 ever by an Angel in a season. I think it was 11.9.
Okay.
Which also led the league. He had the highest K per 9.
That was
year.
an easy pick. I get it.
I know. He had a 172 ERA plus. He was 72% better ERA wise than everyone else. And he had a FIP of 2.4. And also he's sexy. I mean, you look at him on the mound and you just get riled up a little bit, And he's the guy I want leading. In first game of the World Series, I want Ohtani pitching. First game of the World Series.
Okay, well, I'm good with that. I'm not arguing with you, but I definitely see Ryan
throwing 5 wild pitches.
He's time tested. The guy pitched for like 200 years.
He's a mythnical pitcher.
Exactly.
He's one of a kind.
So the guy's going to be there, and he's a no-nonsense guy. He wasn't a guy you wanted to face. Let's put it that way. And he also threw 100 miles an hour in his heyday.
He did also throw 100 miles per hour.
So we got 2 hard throwers here. I don't think you could go wrong either way.
Okay. Who's your number 2?
Number 2, okay? So I said I got a right-hander. I got to give a left-hander here, okay?
Oh, okay.
And my all-time favorite, growing up mostly in the 80s, 90s time.
Back in 1920s, yeah.
Yeah, so, when I was, my fanhood, I'm going with Chuck Finley.
Chuck Finley.
Chuck Finley, the man. So think about this. Chuck Finley, he also was in 5 All-Star games. And I'll tell you what, the Angels had excellent pitching through that latter half of the 80s into the 90s. They just couldn't hit to save their lives, kind of like the Angels last year, right?
Yeah.
So they had Chuck Finley. He had 15 or more wins, 6 seasons for the Angels. 15 or more wins in 6 seasons. That's really good. 5 All-Star games. And he was not in. By the way, did you know he has 165 wins, which is number 1 in the Angels organization?
No, he leads the
the Angels organization, and I'm picking the 1990. Okay,
1990
Chuck Finley. He was 18-9 with a 2.40 ERA, and he had 100. Now he has the lowest of strikeouts, 177. He wasn't necessarily a strikeout guy, but the guy was Mr. Consistency. And he pitched deep into all games. And
he's a lefty?
And he's a lefty.
I like a lefty number 2 in your rotation. After Ryan?
Yeah. Come hard and then give him the tricky stuff with Mr. Finley.
All right.
What do you got?
That's better than your Ryan number 1. I'm not saying he's bad. I understand Nolan Ryan's a freaking nature. I just don't like the idea of 5 walks and 9 innings. And I understand he's a workhorse and it doesn't matter, but like
guy still had incredible ERAs.
I just don't want a heart attack. I just don't want a heart attack first game of any series, or a first game season. I don't want a heart attack.
I just he was a bulldog. If you're afraid of that guy on the mound, I'm telling you, you didn't want to face him.
Number 2, this one might surprise you because you know I don't know anything. I'm taking 1964 Dean Chance.
Whoa.
Number 2. He's my number 2. He's a bulldog is what he is. I'll tell you this right now.
Whoa.
I'll tell you this right now. 9.4 WAR. 9.4 WAR. That's the highest Angel pitching season by WAR ever. 9.4. 278 innings, 1.65 ERA. His ERA plus was 200. He was 100% better than any other pitcher in the league that year. 100% better. It'd take an average pitcher, double him. That's Dean Chance in 1964. He became the youngest pitcher ever to win the Cy Young Award at that time. I think he might. I don't know if he still is. I didn't do that much research. And he has 11 shutouts, the most in Angels history. And also Bill James, the father of sabermetrics, considered him to be one of the worst hitting pitchers of the 1960s. So that's a little fun fact, just to humble him a little bit.
Yeah.
But Dean Chance, 1964 Dean Chance.
I will tell you this. He's not in my top 5, but I did see
Dean Chance is in your top 5?
Listen. It's
a 9.4 WAR.
I'm not looking at just numbers. And again, I like Dean Chance. He was
I
right
didn't just
there.
Look at numbers.
He was right.
Bill James considered the worst hitting pitchers.
He was right there. I mean, I'm serious. I was going back
and forth. The fact that he's trying to sneak into your fifth spot is ridiculous.
Some of this is based on my personal, and I didn't see Dean Chance pitch. I really didn't see Nolan Ryan when he was with the Angels. I did see him a lot when he was with Houston and Texas, but I don't really remember him. I was too young when he was pitching for the Angels to really remember him. But Dean Chance, I didn't see him pitch, so, it's a little bit tough on that side. But, yeah, I get it. I think that's a great pick. I thought about possibly Dean Chance, but it didn't happen. So there you have it.
Go on to your third pick.
My third pick. Okay, well, now, so after I say all of that, then I'm going to try to pick somebody from a 1970 season that that I really didn't see pitch or remember really pitching for the Angels because, again, I was too young. But I went back and looked, and this guy didn't have good wins, good losses. He just, that wasn't his. He was 10-10. Okay, the year that I'm picking, and you're going to be like,
sounds about right for your pick.
Yeah.
Pick a 10,
but the reason why I picked this guy, he's another 100-mile-an-hour thrower. I'm coming hard at you. Boom, boom. Come on, I'm coming right back hard. I went soft a little bit with Tricky Finley. Coming back hard with Frank Tanana.
I did.
Okay, Frank Tanana, 10-10, a 2.43. He had 261 strikeouts. He made 3 All-Stars as an Angel. Okay, he was in 3 All-Star games. He's 4th all-time as an Angel in wins with 104 wins for the franchise. And he actually had one game where he struck out 17 guys. So that, and the guy threw 100 miles an hour. Now, not in his later days. This is his earlier days when he was with the Angels. So I'm going with the 1976 Frank Tanana with those numbers. So that's my slotted in number 3. Oh, actually, I messed up. He isn't my number 3. We'll just say he's my number 3. Sorry, he was my number 4, but that's all right.
You should have put on your glasses before you did this.
You're right. I didn't have my glasses.
Frank Tanana's now your number 3.
Well, he'll be my number 3.
Okay.
I messed up, so we're going 3.
Rotation order doesn't really matter.
That's right. Once you get through it once, it doesn't matter. What do you got? What do you got for number 3?
Now I'm taking 1973 Nolan Ryan.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter, really. We're on the same page with Nolan Ryan.
Okay.
Same year and everything.
Okay, great.
I just don't want him leading off my season.
I want him leading off my season.
I want sexy Shohei Ohtani leading off my season.
I got it. And you got to remember, we grew up in different times. So, some of these guys I was able to watch or was more recent. So
yeah, the thing that popped out at me is that he threw 326 innings.
Yeah.
Which to me is like unfathomable.
Well, they're never going to
And
do that
by the way, that wasn't even his highest.
I believe it. Most of those old time pitchers, you're never going to see that again. That's not the style of baseball
They had to
anymore.
have been on something. There's no way There's just no way.
No, I'm telling you. Look how long the guy pitched. He pitched for like 25 years.
I know.
So, obviously, the guy was just unbelievable. But those were back in the days when pretty much if you were the starter, you were expected to start and finish the game.
Yeah.
Rarely did relievers come in. You had to really be bad to be having them to bring out a relief pitcher for you.
Fun fact about 1973 Nolan Ryan, he also had a franchise-leading 26 complete games that year. And also, he has 3 career saves, Nolan Ryan. He got his last career save in that year. Now, he didn't start every game. There were a couple games he relieved, so I didn't dive into that save. But it's either, can you get a save if you start the game and then it's a shutout, but it's a save situation at the end? Does it count as a save for you?
No, you can't do it in the same
right.
game.
So that means he came out of the pen in 1973 one time and closed out a game too.
Probably in a game that they needed.
That would have been scary.
Yeah. I don't know that they really needed a game in 73 because they weren't in contention. But okay. Yeah.
All right. Who's your number 4?
Okay. My number 4, who's really my number 3. And I don't even know how I missed this. Okay. So I grew up, probably
in
my biggest
1930,
fanhood
right?
was in the 80s when I really
30s.
became a big Angel fan. And I look at it. This guy I loved. I got to see him pitch in 1986 in the against the Boston Red Sox at Anaheim Stadium in the playoffs. And matter of fact, in the notorious Game 5, I was there, sitting out in left field.
Yeah.
And I even made a sign and everything for him at Mike Witt.
Mike Witt.
I'm going with the 1986.
Same year?
Same year, 1986, Mike Witt. By the way, who's the only pitcher in Angels franchise? And we have a lot of no-hitters in our franchise history. Who's the only one with a perfect game?
Is it Mike Witt?
Mike Witt. Amazing. You're so smart.
I know. You guys are going to figure that very soon. That I'm the smart one in this.
Yeah,
in this
exactly.
tandem, so.
And again, I would say this about Mike Witt. He probably had five good years. But the guy had the best curveball I ever saw. This guy's curveball was amazing. He only made 2 All-Star games, but just so you know, he is 3rd all-time in Angel wins with 103, and he's number 3 in strikeouts all-time.
Wow!
So
Big
that's
Mike.
saying a lot. That's it. And he was 18-10 with a 2.84 that year and 208 strikeouts. So he was really my number 3, but we'll call him number 4. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Frank.
He works
I'll
better
take
as
Frank
number
or
3.
Mike. Frank and Mike. What is that, American Pictures? Frank and Mike? I'll take them in any order.
Yeah, showing your age now.
What do you got for number 4?
Well, I have... Oh, jeez. You guys didn't hear that. All right, so number 4. Number 4. Now I'm going to show my age. This is the guy who was, when I was first conscious, really. Because, when you're young, you're not really conscious. This is the first time I can remember ever liking an Angels player. This is like besides J.B. Shuck, who is the best Angels player probably of all time. Probably goes like Shuck, maybe Trout, Ohtani, like in that order.
I get it. You have problems. We know that.
C.J. Wilson's in a different league because he's the guy I want to be. You already know who I'm picking. I'm picking 2013 C.J. Wilson, baby. That's who I'm picking. He's on the all-time Angels rotation, number 4. He's my lefty. All right, he's not throwing very hard. He's like my Mike Witt. All right, look, 212 innings in 2013. People don't know that. In 2013, 3.39 ERA. People don't know that. 3.51 FIP. People don't know that. And he was 17-7. He was almost a 20-game winner in 2013.
Yeah. He had a couple good seasons with us.
And also great hair.
Yeah, you know what? Everybody gave that contract a bad rap. You know what? When you sign a pitcher, if you can,
He only pitched 4 years
out of the 5-year contract. He gave us 3 good years.
Yeah,
you'll take that every time. You're not going to get pitchers are going to get injured. You're just pitching is rarely do you have that guy that's consistent year in and year out.
Great hair. He had a Head and Shoulders sponsor too. That was always fun watching the Head and Shoulders commercials. That was really good.
I'm glad you remembered that.
I remember everything of C.J. Wilson. Yeah. And now he's like a race car. He's not a race car driver, but he owns his own racing company, and he's like that guy in the booth when they're racing. He has like the headphones on. He's sitting up there. Okay, who's your number 5? Who's rounding out your rotation?
Okay. So you got to bear with me here. This was tough. I know there's a lot of guys out there you're still thinking of, and I'm picking this guy for sentimental reasons, partly because he also I thought was a great Angel pitcher. I was sad to see him go when he moved on to another team. Came up as a rookie. Okay.
Is this early 2000s?
He was handed the ball for Game 7 of our World Series
championship.
You're going with John Lackey.
Are you taking 2002 John Lackey or no?
I'm picking the 07 John Lackey.
07 John Lackey.
You can't really pick the 02. He only pitched in a few
That's what I was
games.
going to say. I mean, you could pick that playoff factor. He had that playoff factor.
Yeah, but honestly, that guy's kind of a bulldog too. He's kind of he was kind of like the new version of Nolan Ryan. You know, he didn't throw as hard as him, but he's kind of that Texas style, like dirt and grime, I'll get after it type of guy.
Kind of like you right now.
He was listen to this. In 07, he was 15-9 with a 3.01, 219 strikeouts. He made the playoffs for the Angels 5 times. He played in 5. I think he might be the only Angel to play in 5 playoff. Yeah, five times he was in the playoffs for the Angels.
The 2000s, if you were facing the Angels in the playoffs, you were probably getting some John Lackey.
Yes, definitely John Lackey. And he's number 4 all time in the franchise history in strikeouts with 1,201.
Wow.
So again,
I didn't know that.
And before we get to your 5, or actually I'll let you get to your 5. You go to your 5 and then we'll talk for a minute. Go ahead. So I got Nolan Ryan, Chuck Finley, Mike Witt, Frank Tanana, and John Lackey. You go.
All right, well, number 5, and this is one of the best pitchers of all time in Angels history as well. And people don't know about this, but this is
oh boy.
This is 2014 Matt Shoemaker, baby. I want him number 5.
You're really serious here. All the Angel pitchers, and you're going with Shoemaker.
I am, and I'll tell you why. All right, look, in 2014, who was our ace in 2014 when we had the best record in all of baseball? Who was our ace? Because it wasn't Matt. It was who? Garrett Richards. He was our ace.
When he was not injured, yeah.
Yeah, when he was not injured.
Yeah.
All right. When he did get injured that year, when he tore his was it ACL?
Yeah.
His ACL in Boston.
End of him too. That was it.
It was the end of him. Our ace went down. Who stepped up?
Shu had a great year. There's no doubt.
I know. That's why I'm picking 2014. He finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting.
Okay.
All right. You pick your John Lackey. I understand you didn't pick the rookie version. This is my John Lackey. This is Matt Shoemaker. All right. 2014. Stepped up when Garrett Richards got hurt, pushed us into the playoffs, all right? 16-4. 16-4, 3.04 ERA, almost a sub-2 ERA. And his strikeout rate was, nothing to be impressed with. This is what impressed me. His home run rate was 0.9 point per 9 innings, and his walk rate was 1.6. He was only walking one guy per 9 innings. Great. He had a great splitter. He had a cool-looking delivery. He had a great beard, and he had a great name. If you don't like saying Matt Shoemaker, there's something wrong with you. I want Matty Shoemaker rounding out my rotation.
If it was that year, you'll take them every year that way.
That's what I'm saying. 2014 Matt Shoemaker. I don't want any. Maybe 2015. Well, did he? Yeah, I think 2015. He got injured.
That was his one year that he. That was when we thought we found the diamond in the rough, and everything after that was injury, left and went.
Well, the guy also got hit in the face.
Yeah, he did. He's had some tough times, but again, he's kind of like Garrett Richards. We thought he was going to be our next ace, and then that always seems to happen with the Angels, where snake pick, boom, suddenly.
Oh yeah, one last thing with Matt Shoemaker. If you want a pitcher with some playoff hit experience, his only playoff start, he went 6 innings, only gave up 5 hits, got 6 Ks. So that's a 9 per 9 innings. 0 walks and only 1 run given up. Unfortunately, we could not hit anything, so we got swept anyway. So.
Yeah, well, that was the year we scored about 2-3 runs in the entire series. Yeah, it was really good. So listen to me. I told you I wasn't quite done. And you're like, wait a minute, we gave our 5, right? So
Don't do anything stupid.
In the Angels' history,
Oh, jeez.
in the Angels' history, when is the only time we had a 6-man rotation? And what is the reason we have a 6-man rotation?
It's because of sexy Shohei Ohtani.
So Shohei Ohtani is my 6th man in my rotation.
So you have a 6th guy?
He's a 6. The only reason we have a 6-man, so I kind of tricked you, but that's my 6-man rotation. Shohei Ohtani's 2022. I agree with you. How can you not have Shohei Ohtani in there? And I was waiting for you to go, how do you have a 5
your
and
6th
not
guy
have
is Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani? And I say that because...
Well, that's bogus. You didn't tell me you're doing 6 guys. Now your rotation's being out my rotation.
Of course it is. I'm the dad.
You're 6 guys.
I'm the dad.
That's not how that works.
And just because you didn't think of it, I'm telling you. I was going through this and I go,
I'll
okay, I need to put
I made
Shohei. And I go, you know what? I said, I need one more guy. And I go, you know what? Because I had Shohei in a different spot. I said, I'm going to go Shohei's 6th spot because the only reason we've ever had a 6-man rotation is because of Shohei Ohtani. And so he's my 6th guy. There's my rotation. I got Ryan, Finley, Witt, Tanana, Lackey, Ohtani. Beat that. You're not. Done.
I can because I have Dean.
And by the way, I'm very surprised. There was a guy that you did not pick that I'm my jaw's at the floor.
Who?
Come on. How did you not pick this guy?
Julio Chastain.
He was one of our only other Cy Young. He was our only other Cy Young winner.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well,
And he's one of your favorite pitchers of all time.
Well, I looked at him because
For his figure, his manly
C.J.
figure.
Wilson was a lock for me, but Bartolo Colon.
Yes.
When it comes to my number 5 spot, he was close.
Yeah. And you know what? I had, and I also, Dean Chance, Cologne, Messersmith had a couple of really good years with us.
How 1964 Dean Chance doesn't get on your list is mind-boggling to me.
I told
it's
you,
mind-boggling.
it's not just numbers. I'm looking at all time.
I understand
numbers.
I understand it's
Yes.
not just a numbers
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
Right? I was talking about all of our players.
I told you,
great
he
hair.
was right there. I was trying to figure out. I almost wasn't going to do Lackey.
You can't ignore. It's
I'm not ignoring.
270 innings in a 1.65
You didn't even get
ERA.
mad at me for ignoring Ohtani until I mentioned the 6th man.
Well,
so
because-
how could you get
well,
mad
because
that I ignored Ohtani?
I wouldn't be surprised if you forgot who he is. I mean, you have like early onset dementia. You can't remember what the heck's going on half the time anyway. So it's like I didn't know if you remember him anyway. How do you not see Dean Chance?
And then and there's some other guys like Langston. I love when him and Finley were the two
I saw
lefties.
Langston.
And Abbott. They had the 3 of those lefties.
Look,
He
there
was
were a
good.
lot of guys we had to leave
And
out.
Weaver had some good seasons.
I'm all aware, and I chose Matt Shoemaker over all of those people, and C.J. Wilson.
I get it, but I'm just saying. So there's some guys that definitely deserve mention, but that's my 6th man.
Okay, well now you guys have an idea of what this is all about and who we are as people. We'll be right back. We're gonna. Well, first I'm gonna make sure that the camera's still rolling. We'll be right back.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Back. Turns out my phone ran out of storage in the first 2 minutes, so this first edition of the podcast will only be audio. You will not get to see our beautiful faces and the nice setup we have going
you'll
on.
be glad about that anyway.
My dad is wearing this awesome cowboy hat, and we have our historical 2002 World Series championship banner behind us, pinned against the wall. All right. So you guys will have to save our beautiful faces for later. Anyway, we're going to go on to the next topic because we're not stopping here. So the next topic of discussion today is going to be our man Arte. Arte Moreno has decided not to sell the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim of California of the United States. And Angel fans in general do not seem to be very happy about that. Father, are you happy about that?
I don't know anybody that's happy about that. So, no. There's no one that's happy. I mean, but is it surprising? No. If you really look at it, Arte is a narcissist, and that's his style. Seriously, he's got to go out. Narcissists think that they can do no wrong, and they believe that they're the best. And honestly, they don't care who they take down or who they throw under the bus on the way through. And this is the biggest thing I say about Arte. Has he spent money? Yes. You can't deny the guy hasn't gone out and got big players. And if you ask anybody at the time when we signed any of those big contracts, Didn't matter if it was Josh Hamilton, Pujols, Rendon, whoever, all these contracts that we signed, there wasn't a single Angel that wasn't ecstatic about it. So we can't all sit back later and look after the fact and say, yeah, they were horrible contracts, okay? And there's no doubt about it. I mean, Pujols, we didn't get the Pujols that was in St. Louis. We were hoping we would get, we knew we weren't going to get all of that. We were hoping we would get some of that. And Hamilton turned into a complete implosion with his drug problems and his domestic issues and all of those things. So that was a huge problem. But, I think the biggest thing, so you can't really fault him for not spending money. He doesn't go over the luxury tax, but there's only a few teams that really do. So you can't even say that about him. What I think the part that you really do is it's the way he treats people in the organization. He came out, cut beer prices, did all these things when he first took over the Angels from Disney. And those first, 8+ years, things were pretty good. But once he started bringing in his own regime, Stoneman left, and he started bringing in his own guys, the whole organization went right down the tubes. You look at it now, what's in the media? You look at how he's treating the minor leaguers, their housing situation or the lack thereof. Our Spanish broadcaster, Jose Tolentino, basically, not paying him and paying him some ridiculous amount of money, and he has to do it in a closet, not even to be able to come to the stadium. And just a lot of bogus stuff. All the drug issues in the clubhouse were all under his regime. The way he dealt with the Anaheim City Council and that whole underhanded thing with the mayor, and now basically we lost the rights to the stadium land. And you just look at all the different things that this guy's brought in the last 10 years, and it's been bad. So I think we're all disappointed because we see what he's done to the organization. So I don't know anybody that can sit and say it's wonderful.
Here's the silver lining.
Yes.
He obviously is on the brink of croaking. Right?
Could be a true statement.
He's 76. If I'm 76, and my net worth, I'm looking up right now, is 4.1 billion. Billion with a B.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand how big a billion is.
Yeah.
A billion is a
I don't even have a bill in my pocket.
Exactly.
So I know what a billion is.
A billion is a big number. To have 4 of those, plus another 100 million, just another 100 million on there. If I'm Arte Moreno and I was thinking of selling the team and retiring, and then last second I get cold feet, that can only mean really one thing. I think he's going to go crazy. I think it's a possibility. I mean, I haven't seen the Angels, besides our humongous contracts that we spend, once every couple years on the one player. I haven't seen us spend this much on an assortment of different players in quite some time. So, if I'm Arte Moreno, I'm like, what's the point? Even if I leave like $1 billion for my family, that's ridiculous. I would spend till we're like.
Well, I don't think that's true, and the only reason I say that is you're right. But that was because he was basically like, do whatever you want, because I'm not going to own this team in 4 or 5 months. That was the plan. You're not going to go and look at that if you really weren't serious about selling. I think when he started looking at all the media stuff that was negative about him, and like I said, he's a narcissist. The minute he started hearing all this stuff and everybody wanted to get rid of him and all the negative things that came with that, he's like, I don't want to go out that way. And so he decided to pull back, and he's going to try to prove. Now, I won't disagree with you. I would not be surprised at all if he throws some ridiculous amount of money at Shohei Ohtani before the season starts. I really believe
here's the thing, right?
happen.
In my opinion, I don't care how much money it takes. If he can keep Ohtani, then I think it's worth it. The drug problems versus Ohtani, I'll take Ohtani. I'll take Ohtani versus the drug problems.
No, I mean, most of that stuff's behind us. I mean, once it came out, then they had to smother it. I'm just saying it's how he handles himself. And you're right. I mean, the bottom line is we're still fans. I'm not going to stop being an Angel fan because Artie didn't decide to sell. I'm just saying that there's no one that's going to be happy about it. Let's just hope that he re-signs Ohtani and he decides that he's such a big narcissist that he goes out and spends ridiculous amounts of money and gets the players we need. Because I'll be honest, we got holes still to fill. We know that. So, I think that when you look at the big picture, hopefully he is really letting the GM do his job. And because right now we still have some holes that need to be filled. We need more relief pitching. We need another starter. And we really still need a shortstop, in my opinion. So
Not really.
we do.
No.
Yes, we do. But that's my opinion. I mean, that's especially with there no shift on anymore.
I would rather
We're back to true positions.
Get a sixth guy and a bullpen guy than a
Well, that's what you're saying. I understand. But you're saying if we had to choose. I'm saying if he was really saying, let's just do it, you'll go get them all.
Yeah.
That's not the guys that are left aren't expensive. None of them are expensive. I mean, expensive in what people think they're valued at because they're injury prone or older. But the bottom line is just go give them money and they'll come. They're holding out. All the teams are holding out on them because they're trying to get them to lower their price. But the bottom line is that's really what you want to put you over the top. Then go get another relief pitcher or two, a starter, a shortstop, and we're good to go. I mean, to me, there's no doubt that we would make the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. When I saw the notification that he was not going to sell it, I almost crashed my car. So
yeah, and it's funny because I had just read an article that morning that came out before that came out that they had
really close.
They said by the end of the day they could announce the name of the group that's going to get it, and like 2 hours later, the whole thing comes out that Artie decided not to sell.
Yeah.
So I mean, they were down to that point where he was willing. They were ready to sign. And Major League Baseball, I mean, had to approve, but basically it looked like everything was good to go. And like I said, he's a narcissist. He decided that he can't go down that way. And instead of just taking the money and running, how do you walk away from $2.5 billion when you spent, what was it, 250, 200, I don't know, 1,000?
Yeah, it's one of the best. It's one of the best business deals of all time.
Yeah. Truthfully, I mean, come on. I mean, that investment, you can't look away. But anyway, enough about Artie. He's here. We're gonna have to live with him. Let's just hope we can win in spite of him.
I'm a big Artie fan.
I'm sure you are.
I love Arte Moreno. Yeah. All right, we're going to go on to our off-season grades. We're going to grade Perry. We are the teachers, and Perry is a little student. We're going to give him some letter grades for his off-season this year. The only person I didn't tell my father to do a grade on was Brett Phillips.
Well, guess what?
Oh, you did?
I did.
You just keep on outdoing me. I did this list like at 3 o'clock in the morning, so I wanted to go to bed, I'll be honest with you. But
I did, because I was going to tell you why I did. So anyway, let's go. Let's start at the top. Let's go in order by who we picked up first. We picked up Tyler Anderson as a free agent, right?
Okay,
so let's start with Tyler Anderson.
Okay. My letter grade for Tyler Anderson, and this might surprise some people out there, is a C-. Now, let me be very clear. A C is passing. A C will get you a degree, as many people say. A C is passing.
I thought that's a D gets degrees.
Okay, D's get degrees. Sorry. D's get degrees. Anderson is a C-, and I'll tell you why. Look, I really, really like Tyler Anderson. But I've told my father this before. I don't like the money and I don't like the years. Okay, and I understand we got him early, and I just felt like earlier in the season, I felt like we could have gotten him for cheaper, or at least less years. If the money had to stay the same, at least less years. Because when he's in his last year of his contract, he's going to be 35. And for a guy who, and I understand he pitched at Coors, but for a guy who really, if you look at his baseball reference page, he hasn't really had a year that makes you go, oh, wow, until last year with the Dodgers. And there's one thing about the Angels is that if we take a good player, we ruin them immediately. That's my only worry. And we gave him 3 years, almost $40 million. And I understand if you waited, it was going to be a ridiculous amount of money. I understand if you waited, it was going to be a ridiculous amount of money. So I understand why we got him early. But we signed him so early in the offseason, the market hadn't even really, I felt like it hadn't even, now obviously I'm not an MLB insider, but I feel like it hadn't even developed yet. I felt like you just went out there and splashed like 3 years, almost $40 million at a guy. And I'm not saying it's ridiculous money. I'm not saying it won't hamper us. But the thing that worries me is the 3 years. He's going to be pitching with us until he's 35 after one good year with the Dodgers. Yeah, I just don't know. It's a C-. I mean, I think it's great. Obviously, he's going to help us out, especially this next year. That's why it's a C. He's passing. I love Tyler Anderson. He's a bulldog. But it's just the money and the years. I don't know. Just something. he doesn't scream 40 million to me. He screams like 2 years, 17, 15 million dollars to me. And I think his last year inflated him.
Of course it did. I mean, every guy who has his career year in his walk year of a contract is ecstatic, because that's how many times have we. And we know the Angels' history with signing guys after a career year. We've lost every time. Like every time someone's had a career year and we signed them, it blew up in our face. But I'm giving him an A, and this is why.
Oh, jeez.
This is why I'm giving him an A. Not because he may even do that great. We don't know what he's going to give us. I mean, obviously the Dodgers have some secret potion for their pitching and their players over there, because they know how to take a guy. They did it with Heaney. They find the pitch that he hasn't been doing and help him with it. So as long as he doesn't forget that pitch, I think we're going to get somebody that's going to eat innings, which you need. I think he's a middle of the order guy, and let's be honest with what pitching costs and how hard it is to get pitching. Period. Pitching is the most expensive thing out there. I mean, every time a pitcher comes on the market, you don't even have to be good; you're getting money. Really, starting pitching is just so hard to find. I mean, look at Heaney. I mean, they look at this guy's second coming, and he had like 2 partial years of him throwing, improved pitching, and suddenly everybody wants to throw money at him in years. I don't know. I don't get that. I think I would prefer Tyler Anderson over Heaney. But the bottom line is, I give Perry an A because he struck early, because we only had so much money to work with. I don't care what he says. No one's told me I can't overspend. There's some type of budget. Because the bottom line is, if it wasn't, then Perry's horrible. Because there was a lot of players we could have went and got. Yeah. They're a lot better than what we have. And if what money wasn't an object, then what are you doing, right? So he's still trying to be fiscally responsible. And in a fiscally responsible, to get a guy, and I get the years. And like I said, anytime you do contracts with length, and 3 years isn't a big deal for a pitcher. You wish you could get by with 3 years on most starting pitchers.
3 years and he's going to be 35.
I get it.
That's the problem.
But he's not a hard thrower.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
Throwers, they to me, they last a lot longer. Hard throwers, people that don't have to really pitch, they can just throw a couple of hard fastball, a hard slider, and they get by in life. Great, but when they lose those, they are not good pitchers. Yeah. So this guy's had to learn how to pitch. And I'm not going to say he's coming in here and going to be an 18-game winner, But what I'm saying is if the guy can come in and eat innings and keep us in games with our offense, for what we paid for him, I get it. It's overpaid. If you looked at it in the sense of what we think his value is, we overpaid. But we didn't overpay in comparison to base. Look what they gave some of these pitchers out there. It's ridiculous. So I'm giving him an A for that reason, not because we got, a $40 million pitcher, because we got a guy we needed. We had to have a starting. Actually, we need 2 starting pitchers. We're still 1 shy, but I give him an A for that. That's Tyler Anderson. Next up is
you might have convinced me.
The next one is Gio Urshela.
Oh boy,
Urshela. Okay.
Hey, Dad, do me a favor. Say that outfielder from the A's. He played for the Mets. He got that big contract. Yoenis. What is his last name?
Cespedes.
Oh wow, you actually got it.
I was ready for that.
Typically, he says Cepedes. And then for Luis Rengifo, he'll go Rengifo. All right, Gio Urshela.
Okay, so I'll start this time, and you can go. And we'll go back and forth this way. So Urshela. So this one's a trade. So I think when you grade this, you have to grade what we gave away.
Yes.
Okay,
yep.
So that's important when you're looking at a trade. This isn't a free agent deal, and we're getting Gio. We're getting Gio with only 1 year left.
Yes.
Okay. What's the dollars? I don't even know what the dollars are.
It's not. It's not
a lot.
It's a 1 year deal. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So with not a lot of dollars, it's a 1 year, and we needed somebody to back up for Rendon. That was a major glaring hole the last few years, was for Rendon being hurt. We threw everybody and their grandmother at third, who couldn't play third.
You didn't Jack Mayfield?
Yes, and also couldn't hit. And so bringing in a guy like Gio, he's a consistent hitter. And he plays great, and he not just plays third. He can play first. He can substitute at some other positions. So I think he was a great pickup for depth. So in looking at that, I'm going to give this move with that a B+. My concern is anytime you give up minor league pitching, and I know Hidalgo, we don't know what this guy's going to turn into, but in 4 years, if this guy is pitching for the Twins, great. We're going to go back and go, we got 1 year of Gio.
Yeah,
and we gave up this guy. And again, that's part of baseball. You can't, most minor leaguers don't pan out, even top 100 guys. So you don't know, and you have to make moves. And I think he had to do this, but that's why I'm not giving it an A move. I'm giving it a B plus. We needed that player, but I don't know enough about Hidalgo to know whether he's going to turn into something. But that's my worry. That's my only concern. Did the Twins take us, and in 4 years we're going to see this guy in the lineup and go, dang, that was a former Angel, because that happens a lot.
Well, yeah, we have a lot of good pitching former Angels that we just had to give up. I gave the Urshela trade a B minus for most of the same reasons. I say, you gave up, and luckily it was one prospect, but he looked like a good prospect.
Yes,
he was a pretty good prospect for 1 year of Gio Urshela. Now I think Gio Urshela, if we can make the playoffs this year, it'll be all worth it to me. If Urshela can help us get there with depth, giving either Rendon a day off or Drury a day off, or Fletcher, Rengifo, or Walsh, whoever in the outfield, whoever the heck you want to give a day off, if Urshela can help us there and get us to the playoffs, then I think it's worth it. But knowing the Angels, whether that's going to happen or not, we don't know. So giving up any prospect
he'll probably be an ace in 5 years,
right? And look. And if I'm the Twins, and
and this happened before they re-signed. Before they re-signed the second baseman.
Drury? Yeah, we got Urshela first, yeah.
No. I'm talking about the Twins.
Oh, Correa.
Thank you.
Yeah, it did.
So I almost felt like they were like, hey, we're giving up. We're waving the white flag, and then all of a sudden
I think they were trying to clear a payroll.
Oh, maybe. But how would they know they were going to end up with Correa again?
Well, they don't, but they have to have money to throw at him.
There was no throwing at him. He had already basically, in all intents and purposes, agreed with the Giants first off. And then that blew up.
No, it was all part of their plan.
And then he
was going to go to the Giants, then it's not going to go through, and then he's going to go to the Mets, not going to go through.
Well,
and then he's going to come to us, and we're going to get him for really cheap.
That's all right, because I didn't want Correa anyway, so that's fine. I don't like the person. So let's move on. Okay, so who's next?
Renfroe.
The next move was Renfroe.
I think you missed Renfroe. I think Renfroe was before.
No, I looked this up, so I know for a fact.
Wow, never mind.
It went Gio and then Renfroe.
Yes.
So what do you got?
Okay, let me tell you something about Hunter Renfroe. I absolutely love Hunter Renfroe. Around the house, I've been calling him Hunter Daddy Renfroe. I love Hunter Renfroe. I love everything about him. I love the approach at the plate. I love his power. And his defense in right field makes me salivate at the mouth. There's a video on YouTube. You can probably look it up. Just type in Hunter Renfroe arm. It's like a 6-minute video of him getting outfield assists.
Yeah.
How many outfielders have over 5-minute video? Maybe a 3-minute video of getting outfield assists. This guy has over 5-6-minute video of him getting outfield assists. He has a cannon. The only thing that's making this grade a B plus for me, it's a B plus on the brink of an A, is just the prospects. For 1 year, you're gonna have 3 prospects. Now I understand for the Brewers, it's a good trade, and for the Brewers, Hunter Renfroe is a great player. It's not like the prospects we gave up were, mind-boggling. But Jansen Junk, Ellis Peguero, and there was one other guy.
Seminaris.
Yes,
he's the one I'm worried about.
Seminaris?
Yeah. I think he's the guy that could end up being something.
I think Jansen Junk is going to turn out.
Junk is junk.
He's not junk.
He's got
he throws
the
a lot of
last name.
He throws a lot of good junk.
No, he doesn't. That's why he's bounced around. Junk is junk.
That's because you're looking at him from 2021. You have to look at him when he came up with this last year. What he did.
I don't
know.
He
had a good game, and I think it was Kansas City.
Honestly, Junk and Peguero weren't a big deal to me. I don't think either of them are going to be. they could be bullpen pieces here and there. And like you always say, bullpen pieces are a dime a dozen. So I'm not worried about them. If you look at some of Seminaris, again, he's in low minors, but you look at his potential and what he could do and his stuff. That's another one that could come back to bite us later in the future. He could be another one of those Brewer studs, and we're sitting here going, "Oh, we need some starting pitching." But I agree. I gave a B plus also for a lot of the same reasons. I'm mostly concerned about the players giving up, but for once we actually got a good outfielder. Hunter Renfroe he can do it all, and I just like his personality coming on the clubhouse. I think he's a good clubhouse guy. I like his outfield stuff. His arm, like you said, is unbelievable. You showed me that video. It's very impressive. So I'm excited. We needed the bat. Our offense was pathetic other than Trout and Ohtani. And
Yeah, just putting Hunter in the lineup,
Yeah.
smack dab in the middle,
Yeah.
just makes it look scary.
Oh yeah, it just improved our lineup. So again, we had to do it. And again, I'm hoping long term that we sign him up for another few years. But I don't want to give him crazy money because he is getting a little older. But definitely, to me, someone I would consider maybe another 3 years or something like that.
I think we're on the same page that we both love the player. Just giving up prospects for 1 year doesn't give you A; it gives you a B.
Yeah.
Which we're not complaining about. We love Gio Urshela and Hunter Renfroe, but
Yeah.
you just can't give an A for 1 year and giving up prospects.
Yep. 100%.
So next, was it Esteves or Drury?
Yeah,
Esteves. All right. What do you have for Esteves?
So I don't know how this move to me. Again, this is a free agent pickup, so we don't give up anything. We got him for 2 years, I believe.
Yeah.
That's an A move. The guy pitched in Coors his whole career, so it can only be better than what he did at Coors. And what he did at Coors wasn't bad. He didn't have the best upfront numbers, like win, loss, save type thing record, and even his ERA. But if you look at his stuff and a lot of the other, he's a stud. And we need bullpen help badly. But can I tell you this? This is not an A move if this is the only bullpen piece we get.
It might be.
I know, and that's what I'm worried about. But what I'm saying is this is an A move because I think a lot of other people slept on him, and this is another Perry sneaky move. I like it. You can't go wrong, but we need more than Esteves.
We're gonna differ here.
Okay, you go for it. I know you're giving him an F-, but that's okay.
He's getting a what would I put? He's getting a C plus.
Okay.
He's almost a B. Again, C is passing. C is a passing grade because it's a bullpen piece. Anytime you get a bullpen piece for not long money, it's good. I mean, great upside. If you've ever seen video of him, he has a really, really good fastball. I haven't seen much of his breaking stuff, but I'm assuming it's fine. The only thing that worries me, and I understand he pitched at Coors. Look, the numbers were not great. And I understand anytime you pitch at Coors, it's not going to be great.
Yeah.
It's not the ERA that worried me. It's not the home runs that worried me. It's the walks. His walk rate is high, and it's not like it had some massive improvement his last year. The walk rate was still high, and I don't know how walks are affected by the air in Coors.
Well, have you ever drunk a beer and then tried to pitch? That's how it affects you.
I mean, look, his walk rate isn't terrible. It's like mid-threes. So it's not bad by any means. But
Well, he'll be like the rest of the Angels bullpen. They all love to put a lot of guys on base and try to get out of trouble.
I guess, and I mean, look, maybe I graded a little harshly. Maybe it's because I was really tired last night. I was just upset with everything. I was just giving everyone a harsh grade. I mean, it's not a bad contract at all. I'm not worried about the contract. And he did have a good year last year. But I mean, looking at the last 2 years, his K per 9, it's not even 9. And this guy's supposed to be like a stuff reliever, throwing hard with all this great stuff.
They're saying possibly a closer. I don't know about that. I just think we need people at the back. He can pitch at the back half of the game. The 7, 8, 9. That's the guys we need.
Yeah, I look at the numbers from last year, and I just like his K per 9 is only 8.5, and I'm not saying it's bad. I mean,
That's basically a strikeout an inning. That's not horrible. You don't have to have everybody. You don't have to
I
have
understand,
everybody
but
striking everybody out.
The way we're making him out to be is like this guy who has insane
Well, I don't
stuff.
care what people are making. I'm just saying when I look at him, what do I think? How do you go wrong with this guy? 2 years, we didn't give him a lot of money, and you know how many GMs came out later and said that was a good move? Like they missed on him.
I think it was a good move.
So I'm saying there was no risk. There's really no risk with this guy. I mean, we gave him money. There was a little bit on that contract, but the bottom line is that's what the going rate for relief. We talked about pitching. Anytime you got pitching, they're giving crappy relievers decent money. So I don't see how this is not a win-win. We didn't give up a single prospect for this guy. So to me, it was a win-win. That's how I'm looking at it. Is there other guys I would have maybe have wanted in place of him, or I still want that are still available? Yes, but just him by himself, I give it. Like I said, it's not an A if this is the only move the Angels make. That's my opinion. So now, up next is Drury, Mr. Brandon. What do you think of your namesake?
Well, A++ because his name is Brandon. No, I gave him A-.
I like Brandon Drury. I mean, he had some rough years in the middle. I mean, when he came up with Arizona, he had some really, really good years, and then he went over to, I think he spent time with Mets, obviously the Reds, Padres, like he kind of in Toronto. I think he kind of bounced around some teams over there. But I mean, what he did last year, he's always had some pop. His slugging's never been the problem. It's really been his on base percentage is average. He's versatile. He's a versatile infield with power for 2 years. Not a lot of cash. It's an A- for me. And I think based off what we're seeing, he's probably at the moment going to play every day for us at second.
That's what I'm thinking too. But I and I'm right there with you. I have A-. I think that he has this to me was more important than the Gio. Though Gio was important because of third base. I just really think we need. I don't think you can play Rendon every day. I think you got to give Rendon about 130 games this year, and someone's got to make up that difference, or even 120, just to keep him rested, because you don't want the guy getting majorly injured, and we need Rendon to win, but we can't be throwing out ridiculous players that no one's heard of or is off the scrap heap who everybody else has released, and we bring them on and make them our starting third baseman. So at any rate, I agree. I think it's an A-. Good bat. All good things about this guy. I know he was on the Padres last year, so I think he came over in a trade, didn't he?
Yeah, at the Reds.
Yeah,
he was
Yeah.
fantastic on the Reds.
Yeah.
He destroyed over there.
Yeah, so my thing is again, another upgrade. We know the big thing people talked about this year is Perry did a good job with depth. He definitely did. I think we have everything we need but that shortstop, and I think shortstop's such an important position.
I think you rotate Fletch and Rengifo.
No, and I'm not saying that that's not serviceable, but are you trying to? If you're saying I'm trying to win,
If we're trying to win, then we go get
you're
Angie
not-
Chafin in the bullpen.
well, I agree, and no, I agree. We need, and we also need a starter, and I really feel like shortstop. You add a shortstop, and then you can use somebody like Rengifo to trade, or Fletch to trade. And
no,
again,
don't trade Fletch.
no. Look, can I say this?
No.
Being too sentimental is
No.
what doesn't help you win.
I don't care about winning if Fletch is gone.
No, well then you can put him with Shuck, and you guys can go play little ball somewhere.
Don't you ever take Shuck's name out of your mouth. All right.
So anyway, that's where we're at.
I think you changed my thoughts on Estevez and Anderson. I'm a little bit more bullish now on Estevez and Anderson.
So, and then I added the sixth guy because you didn't talk about mentioning Brett Phillips.
A plus.
I said B plus.
A plus.
But this was my thing. I said this was the sneaky move of the offseason. Out of all the moves he did, this was the sneaky, because this forces Joe Adell and Moniak back to the minors where they can play every day. Neither of those guys are either going to be starters or we got to get rid of them, because those guys are not backups. They're the guys that need to play every day to continue to develop. Obviously, we saw both of them. Neither of them are ready to be an everyday outfielder on a playoff team. Okay, if we're the Reds or the former Angels, who we're trying not to be, then these are not guys you're going to start. And can I tell you, Brett Phillips is not our fourth outfielder. Brett Phillips is our fifth outfielder. And I say this for this reason. You are not going to start this man unless, we're up, 20 games in the standings. This guy, to me, is a late inning, base running, defensive. He can play any outfield. He's speedy, and he's a great clubhouse guy. So this guy, to me, when you need to give Renfroe or Ward or Trout a day off and DH them, or they're going to take a day off, you got Drury, you got Walsh who can play out in the outfield, Urshela. So what I'm saying is those are your fourth outfielders, and your fifth outfielder in a pinch could come in and play. You do not want this guy in there because of his bat. Can we just put it that way? You're
he
bringing
did have
him
an interview where he said he was working on it hard this offseason.
I get it,
but
but can I tell you, this would be the Angels' move in previous years. Instead of Renfroe, we go out and say we signed Brett Phillips to be our starting left fielder. That would have been the old Angel move that we made. So what I'm saying is this is sneaky because none of us really were paying attention to outfielder after we got Hunter Renfroe. We were like, okay, we're done. We got enough outfield help. Let's move on. But this was sneaky because this pushes Joe Adell and Moniak back, lets them play a full season in the minors, and we either got to figure out They're going to put up or get out. You trade them, you do whatever you're going to do. Because, these guys have to get to where they need to be. But I think they need to stop the pressure of, I'm in, oh my gosh, I played 3 games, and I got to sit on the bench for 5 games. And then, it messes up their batting. And then they come in and they're just struggling. It's hard for young guys. And I think they need to come up and be a starter when they're ready to be a starter. And right now we have Hunter on a 1 year. If they feel like these guys made the push and they want to try next year, whatever, we'll cross that bridge. But to me, Brett Phillips, great move. That was a sneaky move for a 5th outfielder.
Brett Phillips is an A+. He's a great reliever.
Hey, never know. Let's just hope he's coming in because we're so far ahead in the game we don't want to waste relievers.
I don't care if
and not the other way around.
If I went to a game and we were getting blown out, as long as I get to see Brett Phillips pitch, I'll be happy. All right, we're going to go through our opening day lineup. We're going to do it kind of rapid fire style. So we're going to go 1. You're going to give me your guy. I'm going to give you my guy. We're going to go.
Okay.
Number 1.
Think we might agree. Maybe. I got Taylor Ward.
I got Taylor Ward. All right, number 2.
I think it's a no-brainer, Mike Trout.
No. I have Ohtani.
Okay.
Okay, number 3.
I've got Ohtani.
I have Trout.
Okay.
All right, number 4.
I got Renfroe.
Oh, I have Rendon. Okay, number 5.
Number 5, I've got Rendon.
I have Renfroe. So we have 2 things to talk about. Number 6.
6, I got Drury.
I have Drury 6. 7.
Walshy.
I have Walshy. 8.
Renhefo.
Oh, I have Logan O'Hoppe.
Okay.
And then 9.
I got Stassi.
All right, I have Fletch.
Okay.
All right, so we have some differences in the philosophy here. First off,
and again, we're saying if you just had to pick, because some of these guys, it's going to be matchup related in certain positions. Okay.
Yes.
Outfield's a lock, but infield, because we have so many moving pieces, definitely could you see a Fletcher playing? I don't think until Fletcher shows that he's back to Fletcher, I think he would be better served in a bench role right now. I think Drury, to me, gets the nod at second. And shortstop, like you said, if we don't have a shortstop, then you could move back and forth between Renhefo. But I still think Renhefo overall, though Renhefo's defense isn't great either. So I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
I think you play Renhefo versus lefties, and then you play Fletcher versus righties.
Okay,
I think Renhefo splits versus lefties are better. What I want to talk about is the Ohtani and Trout. So I have Ohtani 2, and you have Trout 2. I want Mike Trout protecting Ohtani.
And they're never going to do it, and you know why they won't do it. I'm just doing it because they're not going to do it.
Yeah, but I want them to.
They're not going to do it. They want him to possibly get that one extra at bat, and that's why they move him to the number 2 spot. He really should be a 3 hitter. I agree with you, but they'll never do it. I mean, I just would be surprised. I've wanted that for a long time. I think this whole stupid thing, if he gets one more at bat, the bottom line is if you've got a powerful lineup, you're not going to need to worry about him coming back around that often in that last at bat, because you should have leads and have a good bullpen. This stuff of always waiting. And you know how many times we got back around to Mike Trout and he didn't come through because you're putting all the pressure on him? And the bottom line, it didn't matter anyway. We didn't win and we didn't get to the playoffs, so it's not working. But I agree with you. I would not have a problem with that. But I think realistically it's going to be Ward, Trout, Ohtani. And then you flip-flop.
I just like, because I think when Mike Trout is healthy, I think he's the best hitter in the game.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of Trout protecting Ohtani, so it forces guys. I mean, because right now, I think right now everyone's more scared of Ohtani than Trout. And to be honest with you, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, because I think Ohtani. I mean, they're both K prone now, but I think Ohtani's more K prone. I think that Trout's just a better hitter. So if you can get the speedy Ohtani, which is he's also, don't get me wrong,
Ohtani's more streaky. That's the problem with Ohtani. He's more.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I want Trout.
Trout's more consistent.
That's why I want Trout protecting Ohtani.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not arguing. I would have no problem with that. I think that's a better line. Honestly, that could be a good.
This
lineup.
Is your opening day lineup, Dad. You get to choose what you want to do.
Okay, but I'm trying to also be realistic.
This is not about realism. This is about fantasy.
Okay, well, if it's fantasy, I'll go with you on that.
This is about fantasy.
But let's talk about that 4-5 spot.
Yeah. I like Hunter hitting 5th. I read this study one time.
Oh boy, here we go.
It was a study.
Okay.
Being completely serious.
Okay.
Your best hitter should be hitting 5th.
Okay.
Because theoretically, and then the guy did a whole bunch of analysis on it, and I'm just talking out my behind right now because I have no clue where that study is. But it basically said that the most RBI opportunities and the most potential to create runs is from the 5th spot.
And I like Renfroe protecting Rendon. If you want to get Rendon going again, you need to have someone behind him so that they pitch to him. If I'm pitching, I have Anthony Rendon up. I'm already kind of scared, and then I see Hunter Renfroe, big guy in the on deck circle. I want to get Rendon out. So now you're giving Rendon more pitches to hit, and you're putting Renfroe in the 5th spot with potentially Ward, Ohtani, Trout, and Rendon all on base, all potentially
Well, can
on
I
base.
tell you what's going to solve this whole problem? If Walsh comes back to the Walsh of 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because seriously, you think about this: Walsh batting 7th.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's insane.
But that's the Walsh last year. You have the Walsh we had 2 years ago. This lineup now, we're very right-handed heavy, very right-handed heavy. Other than Ohtani and Walsh and Ranhufo, who's a switch hitter.
Yeah.
We're very right heavy.
That's fine. It's 6-3. It's like a 2-to-1.
No,
ratio.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying there's not like a lot you have to worry about. No, I'm just saying there's a lot of teams that have more mix, so you're trying to get the right left. We're so spread out
Yeah.
that's not a big deal to me. It's more about, and you're right, I'll agree with you. I think it's more about trying to protect the next guy. But you got to see somebody like a Walsh really. If Walsh becomes Walsh of old, this lineup is scary. Okay? If we don't have the Walsh of old, I think we still have back half issues. No matter if it's Fletcher, Renhefo, no matter if you have O'Hoppe or Max Stassi, no matter if it's Walshy in there, whoever, it's Urshela. That's not a scary lineup. You have Walsh, and Drury has the year he had last year. We're a very deep team.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it's going to come down to, and I think we're going to talk about that next as our breakout, but I think that, and then I gave the nod to Stassi for one reason. We gave him a long-term contract. The other guy, O'Hoppe's a rookie. I think you're going to bring the rookie in. I think it's going to be Stassi 3. I think it's going to split 3-3, honestly. Usually, and I was looking at the schedule. We have almost a day off every week this year. Instead of having long stretches, we have a lot of days. Yeah, they spread us out nicely. So we have a lot of days off, which will come in handy with pitching too. Maybe we don't really need that 6th starter because we'll just keep skipping that whoever that 5th guy is anyway to get to Ohtani because they want to keep Ohtani on the 6th day. But at any rate, I just think you have to give Stassi a chance. If Stassi starts going right back to the Stassi of old, and as far as offense, and even his defense was suspect last year, which is really where his strength was, and then you've got O'Hoppe, you can start giving O'Hoppe. But I think Stassi's earned the right to at least start the season as your everyday starter, whether that's 3 to 4 days a week. That's what I think. And if Hoppe starts coming through and Stassi's struggling, I think it's an easy after a month, 3-4 weeks in, and that's the case, then you make the switch. Catchers don't catch every day anyway. You got to have 2 good catchers. So I think that's my opinion on the catching side of things and why I have Stassi as my starter.
I could have gone either way. I'm a big Maximus fan, so. But then I have David Fletcher over Renhefo. I just like Fletcher just because he's David Fletcher. I mean, if you don't like David Fletcher, then you should consider changing.
Well, let's put it this way. I think the one person that the shift is going to help is David Fletcher. David Fletcher is basically a right side hitter. The guy hits everything through the hole on the right side, and when they shifted him, and
that's not true.
It is true.
No,
he's a punch and Judy hitter. You watch him; he's always hitting things to the right side. Always.
Yeah, but I don't think they're shifting against him.
No, they were still shifting against him.
They were doing like a deep right field shift on David Fletcher.
They were shifting, and I'm saying they're not going to be able to send another. Yeah, the guy hits primarily to right field.
Yeah, but they're not putting a hard.
The guy does not.
They're not putting 3 infielders on the right side of second base for David Fletcher. I've never once seen that.
I'm telling you right now, I think the shift is going to help. If it's going to help someone on the Angels, I think it's somebody like Fletcher. But all I'm saying is no, I would love to see Fletch do what Fletch does. Fletch should be an on-base machine. That should be his thing.
That's why I haven't hitting.
But the bottom line is he hasn't been, and so he to me is somebody that really needs to prove himself. I definitely think you pick Drury at second, and because we have no shortstop, this is why I say it's a problem. Suddenly, we're throwing anybody out there, and we don't care what their defense is like because I don't think any of these guys are great shortstops.
I'm not saying that, but I mean you have Urshela. I mean, if throughout the year if you can rotate Urshela, Fletcher, and Hefo at short.
Oh, I'm sure every World Series team that's their dream.
Look at the Phillies. The Phillies had, what was it? Bryson Stott? No, who was it? Who was their shortstop?
I don't know.
Well, they're rotating Sosa and Stott. Oh my gosh, I'm getting the shortstop
Okay,
mixed
then
up.
let's do this. Let's do this.
They were a World Series team.
We'll be such a good offense that we can suffer with Velasquez, or we'll just bank on Soto.
I do like Soto.
I do, but was that he never did that in the minors, which worries you about? And they said his major league numbers were skewed to the good, like he got the things that.
Well, I was looking at the breakout stars,
yeah.
and we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
right,
but
we'll move on to the breakout stars because I did look at Livan Soto for my breakout star of the year.
Yeah, but he's got to play to be a breakout star.
His peripherals weren't
good. Yeah, I saw that.
The best.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it was kind of one of those. Everybody has one of those seasons where things just go your way. That was his year. Is that something he's going to do forever? I mean, it could be. There's not saying he couldn't, but I wouldn't bank on it.
All right, who's your breakout star of the year?
So this was a hard one because we have so many underperformers on the Angels, and but then I thought about it and I said, really, this shouldn't be a break. This shouldn't be breakout. Really shouldn't be somebody that is like a comeback player. So I'm not going to use Walsh. I'm not going to use Rendon. We want to see those guys come back, but that's not a breakout. That's who they should be.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not a breakout. So breakout's got to be someone that's more of a rookie, a newer guy.
I interpret it the same way.
Right? And I think we all know who we want to break out. And I think that's Mr. O'Hoppe. Because we need a good catcher. And I have never been like the biggest Stassi fan like you, but I also believe if you've earned a spot, you got to at least give him another shot. I mean, everybody has a bad year. But I'm hoping that O'Hoppe is the real, because what we gave up for O'Hoppe, to me, we better see something good out of O'Hoppe, or that's going to hurt my soul for a long time. So, because I predicted correctly on who was going to be the better. Everybody talked about Odell for the longest time, and who did I say?
You did say that Brandon Marsh would be better than Joe Odell.
I did, and I know it's still not a done deal yet, but I still believe that to this day. Everybody was talking about Odell, and I said Marsh is going to be the better player, and boom, and then we trade him away. And again, at least we traded him for somebody with great upside. We didn't go get some veteran that's got 1 year left, and then, you know what I mean? I'm happy that we got a position we needed, which was catcher. Now we've got a second catcher in our organization, or even possibly a third. We actually all of a sudden now we've become this,
catching fun.
Yeah, so which is good. You need solid catching. So I'm going for, if I was going to root, I'm going to go for O'Hoppe.
All right, that's a good pick. My breakout star of this next year is Chris Rodriguez.
Oh, I didn't think of that one.
Yeah,
okay.
no, everyone forgot about Chris because he's been on the old IL with his broken arm, his arm split in two pieces. Yeah. So I see why his arm split in two pieces. If you ever watch the guy throw, his body's like getting contorted in 15 different ways. But I mean, I think, look, if he can stay healthy, which I mean is the biggest question with everybody. I mean, you saw him when he played back in, I think it was 2021.
Yeah.
No, 2020.
Was he in that shortened season?
I have no clue. No, he was in 2021.
And then it was 2020.
No, yeah. He was 2021.
Yeah.
I mean, he was ridiculous.
Yeah.
His stuff's insane.
Yeah. I think the problem was they tried to make him a starter.
They
need to put him back to the bullpen.
That's my prediction. I see him. He's either a long man in the bullpen, or he's a setup guy. I don't know if he's a closer yet, just because he doesn't have the seasoning yet. He doesn't have the experience. I wouldn't want him closing out games. But I mean, I could see him as a 7-8 guy, coming in filthy stuff. Yeah. Maybe after a Tyler Anderson, a lefty Tyler Anderson, you throw in the right-hander, hard-throwing, funky delivery, Chris Rodriguez. You have no shot.
We've got to. I will say, our bullpen needs more help, but we do have some interesting arms down there.
Yeah, we do.
You got they come at you from different angles, and you add Estevez into it.
My favorite is when you throw Jimmy Herget and then Aaron Loop back to back. That's my favorite thing of all time. If you can throw,
if we had the Loop of old, I wouldn't mind that. But Loop last year was.
Well, don't worry about Loop of last year. We're gonna get the Loop of the Mets.
Well, let's hope we do, because that was tough to watch.
But, I mean, you throw Slim Jim, Jimmy Herget from right side, and then right after you throw Aaron Loop left. I mean, it's the funniest thing of all. I'd love it. But yeah, Chris Rodriguez. I looked at his stuff. He was actually above average in 2021 at all these things. Expected batting average in terms of the hitters. So they were expected to get a low batting average. They're expected to get a low barrel percentage, lower launch angle, lower sweet spots percentage, lower expecting slugging, and expecting WOBA, weighted on base. I already forgot the last part of the acronym. But
No, hey, that's a good pick. I honestly didn't really think of that. I was trying to think of a pitcher, and I go, well, I didn't really think of any rookie breakouts that I was thinking, because to me, all of our young starting pitchers broke out last year. They all had good years, not all-star years, but they all had good years last year.
Yeah.
So if they continue to build on that, we're in good shape. But from a bullpen piece, I forgot about Rodriguez. I'll agree with you. We definitely need to see a breakout. I mean, if we're going to have a breakout, we need it on the pitching side. We really do.
I think I have a couple. I mean, I was going to do Jose Quijada, because you know how much I love Jose Quijada. My prediction was going to be he was going to be our closer. But then I looked at his numbers and his peripherals, and I decided to go with Chris Rodriguez.
Yeah.
I love Jose Quijada though.
It's his presence and his energy.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
the guy has the energy of a closer. I mean, you see him up there. He's intense. He's
guy throws like 85% fastballs.
Yeah.
He's just shoving 95, 97 down your throat. He doesn't care. He's throwing it right down the middle too.
Yeah.
He just shoves it right down your mouth. And then
as long as he's got good movement, we're okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was very fun. This is our usual debate back and forth between Brandon and I on a pretty much a weekly basis. We have a day, and usually we'll be doing these on Thursdays. It's the one day that we have together. You know, we both work, and he goes to school, and we have just a lot of different things. But usually Thursdays is our big debate day on Angels news, and so we're going to try to do these moving forward on Thursdays, and we'll just kind of see how it progresses. Maybe one of these days we'll figure out how to get it so you can see our ugly mugs. But for right now, it was a lot of fun actually having structured questions, because it helps us keep on task instead of going all over the place.
Yeah,
which
sometimes
we usually
you like to go
do.
on a 5-hour tangent.
Well, yeah, that's me. That's your dad. Dad. That's what dads do. We like to go on. I'm a tangent person. I can sit and argue with the best of them. And
yes, you can.
But that's a lot of fun. So the Angel angle, that's our angle. And
Shut up about the angle.
He didn't want me to do that, but I told him, hey, we're the Angel angle. We got to talk about the angle.
No, you didn't. No, it's not that. You told me you were going to go, and what's your angle, Brandon?
Yeah,
and that's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard.
I know. Well, I didn't do it, did I? Except for, well, at the beginning I did, just to irritate you. But
you did.
Yeah. But this is our first, as of today, a podcast, because there's no video. But this is our first episode. We'll come back next week with something else. I don't think we've come up with what we're going to talk about next week.
Nope, and we're not going to let them know either, because they do not deserve to know what we're going to talk about.
All right, no one deserves to know, because really we don't know. So and who knows? Maybe we'll have something to talk about. Maybe we'll have some new news on the Angels just before spring kicks in. I think pitchers and catchers next week report.
I believe so.
So we will have maybe something. Maybe we'll go out and get that relief pitcher, or
Andrew Chafin.
Yeah, maybe we'll get somebody next week, and we'll have some fun news to talk about. So we'll have some subject matter. But thank you. We appreciate you guys listening. And for the one or two people that might actually listen to this, who are probably all family members, thank you for listening to us and our ranting and raving. And this is the Angel Angle with Mike and Brandon.
All right. See you guys later. Have a good one.